Superman Legacy is a movie that is going to kick off the new DCU. We're going to have James Gunn. He's writing the movie. He's going to be directing the movie. He's basically producing the movie. He's the co-CEO of DC Studios. And so he's got like George Lucas level control over this project, with the original Star Wars movies. Like not quite because he's not financing the movies like Lucas did mostly, or the prequels at least. But this movie is rounding out his cast. We have had metamorpho cast, Anthony Carrigan. We have had Nathan Fillion as the Green Lantern. He's going to play the Guy Gardner version of Green Lantern, the first Lantern in this new DCU. You've got David Cornsweet as Superman. We've got Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane, Isabella Marquette as Hawkgirl, Eddie Gattiger, Eddie Gattegi as Mr. Terrific. But now, the question I want to pose to you, Angelina, it's been in the news already. People are speculating. Superman's most iconic villain is Lex Luthor. Every iteration of Superman we have gotten on screen before, we have seen, every time there's a Superman, there has to be a Lex Luthor somewhere. So as Jesse Eisenberg was the most recent on-screen iteration and cinematically, who played, Lex Luthor in the Henry Cavill version of Superman with Batman versus Superman, Dawn of Justice, and then, a couple of the Justice League movie. So who do you think should be cast as the DCU's version of Lex Luthor opposite David Cornsweet's Superman?
All right, so right now we're slated, they are speculating that it's between Nicholas Hoult, Alexander Skarsgard, and his younger brother, Bill Skarsgard. So that's where we're between. If you guys remember, Bill, we got to see in the newest John Wick. Yep. He was playing, I forget his character's name, but he was brilliant in it. I really liked his character. Well, I hated his character, but that was the point. Alexander Skarsgård, has been around for a minute. Originally, we saw him in True Blood. More recently, in almost every movie that came out last year.
He was in Tarzan. He was in the Godzilla
Tarzan,
versus Kong.
Mm-hmm.
The Godzilla versus Kong movie.
He did that movie
he's
with.
In a TV show.
Yeah, he was in True Blood for years.
Yeah, yep.
Literally years. What was that? 7 years. He was in another one after that too.
Was he in Succession, or was it one of the other Skarsgård brothers who was in Succession?
No, I think you're thinking about one of the McCulkey brothers was in Succession.
Oh.
Yeah.
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah. McCulkey, I can't remember his name. He's the younger brother. So
there's Alexander Skarsgård, Bill Skarsgård. There's so many Skarsgårds out there.
Yeah, we were before the show trying to look at how everybody was related, because we were I knew Alexander Skarsgård's dad was really famous, but I didn't really know what he did. I wasn't sure. But you told me he was actually in the MCU.
He was in the Thor movies. He plays one of the scientists, Stellan Skarsgård, and he's been a bunch of other stuff. He was in that show, the Star Wars show Andor, on Disney Plus last year.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm sure he's going to be back because there's going to be more seasons, or one more season.
You think it'll be weird if one of his kids is cast in the DCU and he's in the MCU? Is that going to be a rivalry?
But probably a fun Thanksgiving dinner where they can just kind of share notes what are you up to? Oh, I'm doing this. I wouldn't be surprised if James Gunn does eventually cast Stellan Skarsgård. I'm sure it's not a situation where there's no non-compete situation. You can. Well,
I'm sure there is in their contracts.
Usually, because we have had characters, actors play characters in both franchises, DC and Marvel.
How many years were apart though? Usually, so there's a non-compete clause for so many years.
I'm trying to think of a very specific example, but there's definitely.
My hair is having a moment today. No, I was literally just looking in my face.
But so getting back to the Superman thing, right? Lex Luthor. Nicholas Hoult was being considered for the new Superman. He was being considered for the new Batman at one point, I think, too. But then David Cornsweet got the Superman role, so now it looks people are speculating Nicholas Hoult might end up.
So here's my issue with Nicholas Hoult. I love Nicholas Hoult. I think he's pretty brilliant. I love him in The Great. If you guys haven't seen the show, go see it. He's so funny. I even saw him in the Nicolas Cage Dracula movie. Hilarious.
Renfield.
He's hilarious. I love him. He has this but you want to root for him. In every part I've ever seen him play, I want to root for him. Even in characters where he's playing, in The Great, in the first season, his character is awful. but Nicholas Holt has something about him that makes you want to root for him. I don't want to root for the villain in Superman. I don't want to do that. Like, I don't want
Right.
to. No,
Did
I
you
mean, it
did
might.
you what was did you see that movie, the one with the Menu? Did you see the Menu, and Nicholas Holt is
Yes,
in there, like,
I hated him in that. Yeah, his
right?
character
Like
was like,
he was like
punch him in the
he
face,
was
throw him out the door.
sort of likable at the beginning, but the longer the movie went, the
You were
more of a
like,
douchebag he became.
oh God,
Right?
yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
1000%. So I don't know. I definitely think Nicholas Holt has it in him, but he's not my favorite. Alexander
Okay.
Skarsgård is honestly kind of the same. I don't know. In the beginning of like a lot of I almost always want to root for him. He has something about him that is just inherent sort of likability. I actually think my pick for this is going to be Bill Skarsgård. Out of all three of them, I feel like he's sort of the least known, which offers a lot of opportunity for him to grow. Obviously, he comes from a really like famous family, but I've only
Yeah.
seen him in John Wick. I haven't seen him in anything else. Let
A
me
lot
look
of
up
his
his
other
name
stuff is
because it's gonna
underrated. Like
bother me.
he was in It movies. He was the clown.
Oh, he was playing Marquis de Gramont in John Wick Chapter 4, which,
Yes.
if you guys have seen John Wick, which also I enjoyed that movie, just so you guys
Yeah.
don't think I hate all movies, I I hated his character to the
Yeah.
point where I loved him. Like he
Yeah.
was such a good choice for Marquis. So I kind of think he'd be my favorite choice for this.
He's very good at playing villainous characters. He was the clown in
Yeah.
the It franchise, those movies.
Oh,
Um, yeah, and then like he's just and he really it seems like he revels in the idea of playing that antagonist. Like it's
yeah.
amazing how John Wick, 4 movies in, like still managed to find its best antagonist in the fourth movie of the
Mm-hmm.
franchise. And I think he will have that mean streak. He can bring that to this character of Lex Luthor in a
Yeah.
way that we haven't seen before, because a lot of the other Lex Luthor iterations, whether you look at the Gene Hackman version or even the Kevin Spacey version, what was the Jesse Eisenberg, like had this neurotic version of Lex Luthor, like or I'm trying to think back to what's Gene Hackman was the Christopher Reeve version. So like they all kind of brought something different. A lot of them were sort of understated. They were sort of like heroes to the world, but villain like to the audience watching the Superman movie, because they sort of like do their stuff under the cover of being this nice philanthropic billionaire.
Yeah.
Whereas I think Bill Skarsgård's character could play like a very cynical version of Lex Luthor that's sort of connects to like what we see today with a lot of executives who could be like tone deaf about what sometimes they make comments and they come across as like, what the heck are you talking about? This is not the right time to say stuff like that.
Yeah.
And maybe they don't realize they're saying stuff like that. And so they embrace the role of like, yeah, I'm okay with being antagonized. I'm still walking away with millions of dollars and I'm still a billionaire. I think that's what Bill Skarsgård could bring to this role.
Yeah.
And that would be that'd be really, really interesting to use as a foil for Superman, a very earnest Superman that James Gunn is going for. I love your pick. I think that would be my favorite pick.
Yeah, I just like, I'm excited. I'm excited for that. I hope it's him.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, look, we're gonna probably find out hopefully soon, but I mean, well,
They might pull out somebody completely out of the woodwork. You never know.
yeah,
Like,
it's possible.
yeah.
I mean, for all these some of these other castings you've got in the last couple of weeks, they haven't really been casting that we expected. Like I didn't think David Cornsweet would be the Superman that we would have gotten, or Nathan Fillion would be playing a Green Lantern, like it's so, and Anthony Kerrigan as Metamorpho. Like there's
honestly, all of it. I wouldn't have gone for
Yeah.
Rachel Brosnahan for Lois Lane. That feels like completely out of nowhere for me. But I'm excited to see her. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll get an announcement soon. I know that things might get held up because of this, the WGA, well, not the WGA, but the SAG,
The WGA and the SAG strike, all of them, all of those strikes.
I mean, there's so much going on, and so much that's not going on in Hollywood. So hopefully, productions can get back on track and people can get back to work sooner than later. But on DCU Daily, we'll keep following any kind of story that comes out regarding the Superman legacy and any other DCU projects. So, keep coming back here every day. We'll give you guys the latest updates, breaking news, as well as reviews and previews of movies to come like Blue Beetle and Aquaman. Until the next one, it's been fun on DCU Daily. And, like and subscribe, leave a comment below, and we'll catch you next time.